Welcome to the Virtual Cheese Awards 2021, showcasing the best of British cheese. I'm Louisa and I'm looking after the session today. And the session that we are running through is the best of organic cheese hard. And I've got two judges joining me today who will be judging the cheeses, and they are Dhruv and Tanny. Would you both just like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Louisa. I'm Dhruv Baker. I'm a former chef and now charcuterie producer. I have judged cheese for a number of years, but this is my first year judging the Virtual Cheese Awards, and very much looking forward to what we've got to taste.
Thank you. And Tanny?
Thanks, Louisa. Hi, guys. I'm Tany Gill. I have spent the last 17 years in the cheese industry, working with various cheesemakers and tasting a lot of cheese. This is about my 8th year of judging, second year with the Virtual Cheese Awards, and I'm judging along with Dhruv. Super excited to look forward to the last category of today. Thanks.
And the judges will be using a point system, and they will be judging 5 different attributes. And then the winner of this class will go through to the best of category stage next Friday on the 7th of May. And the whole event has been very kindly sponsored by Food and Drink Wales. Okay, then, so the first cheese that we're going to begin with is E11050.
This is pretty much up your stream, Dhruv, with all the smokiness coming through.
Wow, I mean, that is super, super, super smoky.
Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes you know about the artificial smoking or the smoking paper that's wrapped into. Wow.
I mean, you can actually look at it visually. You can tell that it the smoke. You can see the bars where it sat on the rack, and it's taken on that bark, from the smoke. Because of the density of the cheese, you can see it hasn't actually gone in.
Yeah.
A huge way, but it's
and interesting. It'll be a cold smoke, won't it? Because of the cheese. So the smoker has been filled up and then put in. And
so, Tanny, if you just taste right from the middle of the cheese, it's a really delicate caramel, smoky, toffee, treacly kind of flavor. But then the further you get to the outside, to me, the smoke really dominates. I guess the argument is, if you're going to make a smoked cheese, make a smoked cheese, because some people love that. To me, this has got that Bavarian kind of Black Foresty smokiness. And actually, having said I'm quite susceptible and sensitive to smoke, sometimes I love that intensity. It's that you feel like you're kind of like around the bonfire. But
it's that smoky sweetness, isn't it? It's like you said, right? The Bavarian. The Alsace Alp mountain kind of smoking where the meat has a sweetness, a lot of intensity. We do get a lot of smoking is big in Scotland too, as you know, with the seafood and other meats. And sometimes you're right. You open a packet of salmon, smoked salmon, and the whole house is smelling of peat. And you're thinking, someone put the fire on, but it's actually a packet of salmon that's actually kind of quite exuberant. I like the cheese all in all, appearance, everything great. You're right. It's a choice between, do you really want that overpowering smokiness or not? If you are smoking the cheese, then do you really care about the taste of the cheese?
Yeah, because then you get into process versus flavor, right? And I don't know. I mean, I think it looks gorgeous. I love that kind of smoky bark on the outside. I love the fact you've got that beautiful, clean, pale interior. The flavor reflects that.
Very nice.
I suspect this is exactly what the cheesemaker has set out to achieve, if I'm honest. It's a smoky cheese.
As it says, true to character.
So, visually, I think it's gorgeous. It does well.
Yeah.
It smells like
what it should be.
So I think, I suspect it is true to character. Texturally, again, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, can't fault it. No.
So I think pretty high marks. It's almost irrespective what I think about it from a personal perspective.
Yeah, no, I know, but we are judging, and it's important that we kind of get our perspective on it too. But
yeah, I mean,
but I agree with you. It's on a high scoring side. What should we? I don't know. Start off with a 9 across the board for everything and revisit if need be, or
I'd say maybe 9 across the board. Maybe drop it down to 8 on the flavor. I would say
on the flavor. Okay,
9 across the board and then 8 for flavor.
For the flavor,
personally.
Yeah, happy with that. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay, then so the next one is 1051.
Okay.
$1051. Okay.
That's correct.
What are we guessing?
Wonder what it's so. It's organic hard cheese. It could be smoked or unsmoked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks gorgeous. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, clean patty. Good cut on it. Should texture wise. What do you think? Taste?
I quite like it. It's there's quite a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Depth of flavor. It has. I think it's very well balanced.
Almost that sweetness coming through. Quite
nice. Verging on that sort of toffee note again, toffee fudgy, but not in an unpleasant way.
No, not overpowering. Kind of quite balanced.
Yeah, acidity, sweetness. There's a mature flavor to it.
Yeah, very nice. I like it.
Smells good. Looks good. Tastes good.
Looks good. Yeah. Good. And it's interesting that in spite of having the smoked cheese just before this, it's not, we've not lost it. We could have easily lost this cheese in the flavors because the smokiness was so powerful. And as you rightly said earlier, that it's good to get perspective from someone not from the cheese background, because understanding that how the fat globules and the smokiness works on your palate and makes it lazy or completely overpowers it. It's still got a life in it, so it's quite good.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
What, 9 across the board, 10 across the board for appearance and texture and true to character.
I would say 10 for appearance and 9s for the rest.
Okay, go for that. That's good.
Great, thank you. And the third cheese is 1052.
Again, cuts well, lovely.
Yeah.
Visually, I think it's gorgeous. I'll just hold that up.
And it looks lovely. Very nice. It's gorgeous visually. We had covered this earlier where you try to squeeze it. It's quite firm. It's not like it's kind of squidgy. Yeah, absolutely. Truffles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can see them. You've got those lovely black flecks.
Yeah. Coming through in every aspect of it, every side.
But well balanced.
Well balanced,
Truffles have that lovely ability to just completely envelop your palate. It's that kind of all-encompassing flavor, which I think is one of the things that make it as appealing as it makes them. But that coupled with the fat from the cheese, again, going back to coating your palate, it's this kind of very immersive flavor experience.
The aroma is not coming out as much as I thought would for truffle. What do you think? Or is it?
Well, I think, truffle has become this kind of really obvious. People kind of douse everything in truffle oil, and you get this amazing, like this hit of almost artificial truffle. But actually, black truffle is more restrained, and it's this kind of earthier, deeper, not as obvious. So actually, I'm quite happy
with that
to see that restraint more in line with the attributes of black truffle. And I think that goes into the flavor profile. Truffle is undeniably present, but not overpowering and at the expense of the profile of the cheese.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. What do you want to score it on? Appearance, texture, aroma. Pretty good, actually. Everything is right up there, isn't it?
Would you say 9s?
Yeah.
Flavor 8 or 9?
Yeah, happy
with
with
the thing
that.
is, yeah, I'd say 9s across the board with flavor 8 from a personal perspective.
Go for that, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so the next cheese to move on to is 1084.
1084.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This almost feels like the cheese that we tried in our first category, the mature hard cheddar. Similar kind of rind style, beautiful rind on it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, beautiful. I just love that smell. Going back to the smell of the rind, I think just tells so much about the process and the environment, actually.
Absolutely.
Visually stunning.
This is where you get the true feeling of texture. You can bite into it. It's almost you're breaking it down rather than being pasty. And
so yeah, texturally gorgeous. It actually smells. There's that caramel note coming off it, but weirdly for me, I'm getting the aftertaste is almost like burnt pork crackling.
I see what you mean. There is an aftertaste. Yeah.
Like obviously,
you're right. It's not caramelly though.
No, it's not.
It's a step gone.
Yeah, I mean, caramel is that burnt sugar sweetness, but there's almost when you burn protein, there's a different kind of burnt
almost
flavor
sharp bitterness, but it's not bitter. It's there. Yeah, I see your point. No, right.
So I mean, I think it looks stunning. It smells gorgeous. The texture is wonderful. You can see the crystals throughout it. So flawless up until that point. But then, for me, I'm not a fan of the flavor at all.
I agree with you that there is that little flaw in the flavor compared to what we've tasted so far on that category. I know some are smoked, some are truffle, but we'll have to judge it for what it is. So even it's fine with the character. It's true to its character. It's not like there is an issue with it. Just taste. The rest, what? So we should be happy to score everything about, say, a 9 and taste 7?
Yeah, absolutely what I was going to say.
Okay, it's good.
Thank you. Next one to move on to is 1085.
Bear with me. I'll put this away quickly. 1085.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Very interesting.
Mm. So, Tany, I'm going to have to defer to your judgment in terms of some of the technical aspects of it.
Yeah, sure.
You see here, there appears to be like a wet, at the bottom, like a wet seam, almost.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm getting quite a strong ammonia note coming off that.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So, yes, the wet, if you can see it, so you see there is a wet butteriness. If my camera is doing justice to the
That's
cheese.
exactly what I was referring to. Yeah.
So there's deep yellow colors there, and then this is very, very white.
Yeah.
If it's making sense, this bit.
Yeah.
It's almost either the maturity has not happened right, or I'm not sure what the cheese is, what they're trying to do. Luckily, I think your piece has the needle marks on it. So if you hold the cheese up,
you can see
that beautiful. And if you hold it sideways, that's the one. Yeah. So that big brown, that big brown thing is the needle marks coming through, which is quite good to see that. But let's taste it and see. I'm sure that this white pale part will taste different to the buttery wet part. But let's give it a go and see what it feels like.
Completely different textures of the lighter and the yellower parts. As you said, Tany, there's a sort of crumbly dryness, but when you get into the yellower, fattier bits, but it's almost like the sort of fats have
separated itself.
Different, exactly. So I don't know whether that's a temperature issue, that's during the process, and then further exacerbated by climatics in maturation.
It probably is maturation and turning.
Yeah.
So because very rarely you would, I don't know what the cheese is or what the cheesemaker does, but very rarely you would have two different batches of curd cooked together and put in a mold, unless they are making a new style of cheese. Don't get me wrong, the creamy buttery side is quite nice, quite vegetable.
It is.
But this one, the crumbly pale side is very, 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 very simple, shall I say, if that's the right word. But
well, it's very shallow in terms of flavor. There's no real depth of flavor. There's a bitterness. There's kind of like on the side of your tongue. But as you said, that the yellower, fattier parts are much more interesting. But there's still, I don't know. It falls short
it's a shame.
Again.
Yeah, it's falling short. You're right. And it's a shame, depending on if it's on the board at your home tonight. Depending on which side of the cheese you get to eat, you might eat this side and say, "Oh, it's gorgeous," but your guests might eat the other side and say, "Hang on a minute, what are you tasting in it?" So you're right. It is short. Something is flawed in there, and true to character is what I might pick on, because that's what it's not giving it right. The character is not right. Appearance is great. Aroma is fine. It's coming. Texture, I might fault it heavily because of the two textures in the same cheese. Taste, again, I think texture, taste, true to character, a 6 or a 5.
Yeah.
Aroma and appearance, an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy? Excellent.
Okay, so we've just got 4 more cheeses to go through in this class. And the next one is 1117.
1117. Okay. Right.
Right, there we go.
$1117. Yeah.
Correct.
Smells very kind of lactic and lemony.
Yeah.
Quite young texture also. Maybe it is what it should be. Quite wet. It's like something like a Lancashire style, very,
Yeah.
very
mellow.
territorial, very mellow, clean.
Super clean. There's nothing kind of interfering with that. It's very linear.
No, very linear.
And I think that, quite often I think these cheeses get overlooked and sort of downmarked because they are delicate and they don't, it's like they don't taste of everything. It's kind of pack as much flavor in it, but with this, it's that cleanliness, and the fact that nothing interferes with that line of flavor to me shows that it's very true to what.
True to character it is.
To character. And visually, it's clean. I mean, it's got lovely. Once you cut into it, obviously it's been vacuum packed, but you've got this lovely sort of texture.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite a nice representation of an understated.
Very nice. And good representation of a classic British territorial, if I may be wrong. But because often, as you rightly said, that people underestimate them, Kirkham's Lancashire or any other of the such territorial cheeses, that because we always judge it with a cheddar or with a continental like for like, we are wanting it to do something. But no, the character is not to do anything. It's just to be gentle, mellow, and easy eating. So I think a really good cheese.
Yeah, I
agree.
Very,
very good cheese. I think, taste, I'd like to score quite heavy on this, but I don't know what you think.
Well, no, I agree. I also think the temptation is to kind of not stick to your guns and go for the big, punchy, obvious, on brand and on vogue cheeses, but actually to stick to this, and actually there will always be a place for these classic profiles, and I'm glad there is, because cheesemakers, otherwise you lose heritage and you lose history and you lose variance.
Absolutely.
And actually I love coming across cheese like this because it shows that they're still there, and I think that's exactly the kind of cheese we should be championing for those very reasons.
And considering that we've tasted about 28, 29 cheeses, we can still like this.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go 10.
Yeah.
Across the board. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. I think I might have that with the.
Honey, was that a 9 across the board? Sorry.
A 10.
No, 10, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So the next cheese we're moving on to is 1132.
Cool. We're doing okay for time. We should be able to finish.
Yes, we've just got 8 minutes left.
That's fine.
2.5 minutes for cheese.
No pressure there, Louisa. Thanks.
Tanny, I think Hitchcock-like suspense with the inability to open his cheese.
Just trying to do everything, keep everything as clean as possible so that I can get the best of the cheese in its form. But yeah. Lovely. Nice texture. You got a bite to it.
Yeah, lovely texture.
Form. Clean flavor.
Yeah.
Nothing extraordinary. Appearance is nice. Texture is good. Aroma is quite gentle. What it is. Flavor-wise, do you get anything on the finish, or you're happy with it, or am I just mixing it with all the cheeses I've eaten so far?
No, I think the finish is a little bit short, but in addition to that, there's something like scratching the side of my tongue, like in a string.
Yeah.
You know, where you,
that some kind of acidity is left in it to kind of almost catch you there.
Which in the balance is all right, is quite pleasant, but actually everything else has dropped off, and that's all I'm left with. So I'm left with a slight bitterness in the middle of my palate, and then that acidity. So I think it just dropped off a little bit more suddenly than I'd have liked with that.
Right, and the more you eat, the
more pronounced.
The depth of flavor is becoming shorter and shorter, and you're getting it's going very quickly.
Because you often think, I'll give it another try and go back.
Yeah.
But actually what it does is it kind of really emphasizes that cutoff. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Okay, so appearance, aroma, texture, and character is fine. Taste-wise, what, 6?
6.
And rest everything about 8 or 9?
I'd say 8 and then
8,
6.
yeah. 8 and 6, yeah. Okay.
Right, wonderful. So the next one is 1182.
1182. Gosh, that's quite supple and quite delicate.
Very much so. Completely different from anything we've had.
Yeah. Like it's interesting. You could almost kind of bend the whole. It's almost tasteless, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It needs something. It's almost like an Emmental, like.
It is. It's kind of in that style, but I mean, I'm just finding like there's virtually nothing on the nose. You know, as you said, Emmental is what springs to mind, but then texturally, it's kind of.
It's so kind of.
But really, it's incredibly
delicate, very mild, very, very mild, almost like
to the extent of kind of being almost insipid, because there's you know, the previous cheese was the Wasp, but one was mild and delicate, but it had complexity, whereas this I'm getting nothing at all.
Yeah, even the lactic nature of the cheese disappears. It's almost you're left with rubber.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be easy to score. On you go, Dhruv. What do you think we should put on?
Well, I think visually it's very clean. There's uniformity. There's no flaws. The kind of I'm guessing it was wrapped, cloth wrap. Yeah. It was wrapped or something.
Yeah.
So I think visually it looks fine. It's sort of an 8.
Yeah.
But then I'd say texturally, flavor, you're into the 5s, if maybe the 4s even.
I think
again, true to form, I don't really know what the
character
object of the exercise would have been, but you know, if we're generous, we can give that a 6 and give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think flavor, everything else kind of into the 4s, 8 for appearance.
Okay, happy with that. Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very fair.
Right then, the final cheese in this class is 1222.
Excellent.
Oh.
So
there's a smell that I can't pinpoint at all.
For those who have never seen what cheese mites are, that's cheese mites. Sorry, can you see it? Oh, sorry. These are little, so they have cheese mites. There you go. So they've come from this corner of the cheese there. And excellent. Smell those grassy notes on it.
It's straight into those kind of umami.
Correct.
But to me, it is lacking any kind of sweetness or acidity to counter that.
Yeah, it's going like very bold, and it's almost quite. It's almost living up to the expectation of the aroma it has.
Yeah,
you know, that earthy, grassy kind of, and it just goes poof right up there. You're not.
I think earthy is the right. Earthy is kind of more, because then I'm missing any kind of herbaceousness. There's no kind of herbaceous kind of flavor. I find it very linear, and I find it a little bit lacking in complexity, actually.
Yeah.
I think it looks stunning. I think it's a 10,
looks lovely,
10 all the way visually.
Okay. Aroma?
Probably a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, happy with that. 7 is fine. Texture is good enough for an 8.
Texture is great, but for me the flavors are low. 5.
Yeah.
And then again, I think
10.
Yeah, thin, like true to character. I think it falls at 5 again.
Okay.
Thank you both for all your hard work there. That's amazing. We have a winner, which is 1117, which was the one that had like a lemony flavour to it.
Yeah, happy
in
that.
Second place is 1051, which was the second cheese you tasted. But we have a joint third. So I don't know if you want to revisit these two to see if you can tell a difference between them, which one you want to put through. And that was the first one, which was 1050. And the third one, which was 1052.
The smoked or the truffle?
Yes, so 1050 and 1052.
What do you
Which
think?
Which one's on your board? Those two?
I think the smoked one.
Yeah, I'm agreed. I surprised myself by saying that, but yes, the smoked.
So 105.
1050.
And how would you mark that one up slightly, or would you mark the other one down?
I'd mark probably that one up on taste by 1 point.
Wonderful, that's great.
Excellent.
So then the 1117 will go through to next week's category stage, which is held on the 7th of May, and we look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Louisa.
Right, that's great.
Thank you, Louisa.
Hope you.
Tanny, really good to meet you.
Dhruv, same here, and hopefully catch you again soon.
We can meet again. Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Both do it next week.